What's up, everybody? David Yakir here for iHeartRadio's Yak About, a boomer's GPS guide to life. So if you're familiar with the years 46 to 64, then this is the place you want to be. So put your headphones on, go for a run, and listen as we yak about. If you are new here and listening to one of the 20 podcasting systems that carry us, consider subscribing. And if you're listening to us via radio, put it on your calendar and set it for iHeartRadio's waxy 107.9 FM, 1370 AM, or Real Radio's 101.7. And remember, we can also be found on iHeartRadio.com and almost all the podcasting systems out there, as well as the major social networks. Just search for Yak About or Yak About Tech. And one more thing, you can now download the Yak About mobile apps on both the Apple App Store for iPhones or Google Play Store for Android phones. And in addition to new shows and new guests, the new apps will allow you to listen live, have access to app-only broadcasts. This is where we touch on subject matter that's outside my contract bounds, and you'll even be able to chat with me during the broadcast. So download the apps today. Our goal is to bring you a new listening experience that will help you be better, healthier, and more informed. So before we begin, remember the show is sponsored in part by New Vision Eye Center. So go see Dr. Minotti, Meyer, Reinauer, Tate, O'Brien, and the rest of that great team, because Sally, Wayne, Tanya, and I wouldn't trust our eyes to anyone else. And by that great Chef Bill, the chef who inspired the For You service. Chef Bill is available as a personal chef and for catering. His clients on the Barrier Island have been raving about him and how he has made the food experience as unique and individual as the clients themselves. Some call him the caregiving chef. He is always available on a daily or weekly basis and has been known to cater the finest dinner parties. So if you ever thought of having a personal chef, call Chef Bill. And for more information, call the Inspired Foods Chef Line at 772-217-5462. That is 772-217-5462. And with us, joining us today, we have Rebecca Katz, whose book we're going to talk about right now. And, of course, controlling our whole situation and our lives is Sally Dillon at the controls. All right, Rebecca, the book. So what I gather, what you've done is concentrate on, tell us how you concentrate on ingredients or a certain amount of ingredients that you do things with in this book. Tell us from start, how did you decide on what this book should be
and
about?
Also mention the title.
The title of the book is called The Healthy Mind Cookbook. And it's to enhance our brain function, our memory, our mood, our mental clarity. And then I like to add the stresses of everyday life. So it applies to all of us. And the foods that I'm focusing on are the foods that are going to boost our brain. So there's a culinary pharmacy in the book that has 185 ingredients, everything from walnuts to cauliflower to grass-fed beef to salmon to pumpkin seeds, which I just want to say, give a little plug for them because they are nature's little antidepressants. So so wherever you go, you should have pumpkin seeds in your pocket, in your purse, in your desk drawer. And there are 120 Yummalicious recipes. And I also deal with how to balance taste and flavor and how to make our food taste delicious, because if it doesn't taste good, we won't eat it. So I also talk about things like mental clarity in the kitchen and how to navigate the kitchen, and recipe reading anxiety and culinary choreography. And I give you a really good overview of how the brain works and why it's important to eat.
So let's go back to the ingredients.
Yes.
how did you know? I know you've studied a great deal. I've read inside, outside your biography and every place you've studied and nutritional health and medicine, and you've actually worked with some of the great doctors around. So what is this science? Like, we know, like, drug companies, they test drugs and they figure out what molecules come together, and they do pharmaceuticals and for depression and things like that. But I didn't know we actually did that in foods. And so how did you pick the ingredients, and where did you learn, at what part of your experience did you learn about these ingredients and what they did?
Well, it's interesting because really whole foods, meaning really not the store, but whole foods, are so packed with nutrient density. And how do I know that? I know that by studies that have been done, and there are probably, I would say, I have looked at thousands of studies on foods and what they're comprised of and what they're made of. So when I'm looking at, let's say, the brain, I know things that the brain needs B vitamins. So what I do is I look at all the foods that are high in B vitamins. I know the brain needs antioxidants, like little mini vacuum cleaners to vacuum the debris that accumulates in our brain. So I look at, vegetables that are high in antioxidants, and I look at foods that are high in really good fats. And that's just based on looking at the just tremendous amount of studies that have come out about food and, the benefits that we can get from eating really good food.
I want to ask you a quick question about those pumpkin seeds. Which ones do you buy? Because they come either with or without shells, roasted or raw, don't they?
Yes. So you can get them either raw or roasted, any way you like them. But they, for example, pumpkin seeds are really high in magnesium. And magnesium is a mineral that's very calming. So when you're having a very stressed out moment, that's what you want to reach for. That's the mineral in pumpkin seeds.
Do they have a shell on them?
Well, some do, but most don't. So I like pepitas.
Oh, right. Okay, that's what pepitas are. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, so you can throw them on your salads. You can throw for extra crunch. They're very portable. I love them. They're my favorite brain food, and we don't really think about pumpkin seeds as being like the uber brain food. We think more like salmon and things like that, but not necessarily something so portable. And walnuts are another one. So these are the things that you should have on hand all the time for optimal brain health.
All right,
and to keep your sanity.
So maybe can we go through a recipe? Or,
yes.
When you concepted a recipe to achieve a certain goal, I imagine. So take us through a recipe, and what do you think it benefits? Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense,
yes, it
let
does.
me know.
Absolutely. So let's pretend, because we're on the radio, let's pretend we're going to do roasted ginger salmon, and we're going to have a pomegranate olive mint relish on top of it, like a salsa. Okay? So, and recipes, just remember, recipes are blueprints. You can change things around. But anyway, so we're going to start with salmon, very high in omega-3 fatty acids and B12. So that salmon is going to just, massage your neurons. And again, it's going to put you in a good mood. It's going to, the B12 in there is going to make you feel very smart and focused. And the ginger and the citrus that we're going to use to marinate the salmon to make it taste really good is full of anti-inflammatory benefits. So any inflammation that might be going on in your brain or your body, it's like putting out the fire. So you've got that. And then while the salmon is in the oven baking, you're going to take some pomegranate seeds. And if you don't have pomegranate seeds, you can use cranberries. You could use grapes. You could use bell peppers. And then you're going to mix it with some mint. And mint is a big brain food. Mint is like opening up the curtains and letting the light flood into your brain. It's just, it's full of oxygen and, it's refreshing and you can smell it. And then we're going to put some chopped olives in there because olives have a little saltiness, but they're also full of great fats. So that's going to be massaging your brain as well. And then we're going to add, some lemon and some chopped walnuts into this salsa that we're making. And walnuts are, again, filled with essential fatty acids. So then the fish comes out of the oven and it's beautiful. And then you are going to put this colorful salsa that looks like, it looks like you're putting jewelry on your fish. It's just so colorful and the smells are so intoxicating. So, and then you take a bite and it's like your taste buds are doing the happy dance, Wow. So, it's like the science translates to the plate, but it's really all about that taste and flavor and your taste buds waking up and just being so excited. And this is what I call sustainable nourishment. This is the way you want to feel when you eat. So I would invite everybody to come to RebeccaKatz.com. And on my website, which is brand new, redone, refurbished, I have a whole recipe box with tons of recipes and inspiration. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you get new recipes that are being created and fun video content with me in the kitchen and lots of great kitchen techniques. I have a whole page on my books and where you can order them. I invite everybody to follow me on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube to find out what I'm doing in the kitchen and to inspire you all to get behind the stove and either become cooks or assemblers. So you don't have to be a cook, but you can put things together really quickly that will make you feel great.
Yeah, I've one last question here is the process of publishing now. There's a whole new technology bent. Publishing isn't what it used to be. Right? Take us through the writing to publishing, how it's changed, over the years.
So this is my fourth book child, and my first book came out in 2004, which means I started writing it in 2002. There was no Google, right? So all the research was done really through books, being at the library. We handed in paper manuscripts. Now everything is done electronically. We have more access to more information. For example, I can go onto PubMed and pull up studies in seconds. Then everything is transmitted to your publisher via email or uploading to a Dropbox, and all your editing is done online. So there's no back and forth. And then you get your manuscripts and you get electronic galleys, which is a first. And then when you launch your book as an author now, you have so many more options. Before, you had to hit the road and, you had to go and do these readings and at bookstores or whatever. And, maybe you'd reach a portion of people. Now, with all the different platforms, whether in social media, you can reach out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I call it the longest picket fence, the longest way to spread the word. So it's really quite exciting to write now.
It's incredible. It's just incredible. We're talking with Rebecca Katz, and her new book is entitled The Healthy Mind Cookbook. Big flavor recipes to enhance brain function, mood, memory, and mental clarity. I have to tell you, after just listening to a recipe or two, I recommend everybody get out there and order this book. But right now, we're going to take a break. All right, this is David Yeck here, and this is Yak About Tech. I have a question for Rebecca, actually, because we have some of our audience and some of the communities we serve are the more mature and wiser audience. I was really intrigued when you talked about, and again, we only have about a minute for the answer, so we'll have you back. it's really important that people at a certain age and stage in life really eat well, because